But we start in our Moscow newsroom with Bloomberg's Ellen Pinchuk. Ellen, Barack Obama arrives in Moscow on Monday. What'll be the dominant agenda? Missile defense, political reform, cooperation in trouble spots like Iran and North Korea?
Well, in terms of where we can expect some real progress, it's probably going to be on disarmament. They're looking to find a replacement or an extension for the START treaty, which expires in December. Missile defense shield also tied to that issue, NATO expansion. Iran, North Korea, of course, in light of what's been happening there in the last few days, that's likely to be on the agenda as well. The Obama camp very much driving home the point, though, that they want to appeal to sort of all levels of Russian society, so a business element will be in there as well.
Hillary Clinton downplayed political reform when she went to China several months ago. Same thing going to happen in Russia? Not much pressure in political reform?
Well, that's what we're hearing, and President Dmitry Medvedev saying in his blog ahead of the meeting that he's hoping for a highly practical, pragmatic agenda, and that could be sort of read as a code that they don't want to have any more of the poking in the eye, as the Russian side perceived it in the past, of constantly raising issues of ideology, democratic rights, and so on. So that's clearly the message that the Russians are putting out. We'll see what Obama can deliver.
You know, Ellen, there's much talk about cooperation and trouble spots, as we said a minute ago, but the moment that Ahmadinejad won that very dubious landslide victory, the first place to congratulate him was the Russians. Do they really ever cooperate on this stuff?
Well, they're very consistent in the sense that they believe that meddling in internal affairs or any kind of destabilization is against the kind of message that the Russian government wants to put out. They like the order of stability, and we've seen that constantly in the region with the revolutions in the past years in Georgia, in Ukraine, in Kyrgyzstan, that the Russians have been really staunchly against any kind of civil unrest and may have some concerns on that issue domestically. So to expect that they're going to change that as a result of one visit from Barack Obama, unlikely.
First African-American president, first African-American president to visit Moscow. What's the reaction there?
Well, it really divided. Parts of Russia, it must be said, still very, very much you can sense racism. And I've actually heard on the street from young people just very offhanded remarks about Obama, very negative kind of language, and some very harsh slang, I would say, directed toward the U.S. president. At the same time, there is a small but very important section of Russian society, the so-called intelligentsia, that looks upon the election of a black president, a president whose father was a Muslim, as a real sort of sign that American democracy still exists and is something to look up to. And that's a very important segment of the society here. So it'll be interesting to see what the reception will be, whether Obama works his magic on the Russian populace at large, as he's managed to do in so many European countries, given the fact that Russia has historically not been a super tolerant society.
Ellen, we look forward to your reports next week. Thank you. Janine,